Can you see me? Hi, Pam. Give me a thumbs up or a like or say hey if you can see that okay. Can you see me? Hi, Pam. Give me a thumbs up or a like or say hey if you can see that okay. Hi, Johnny. Can you see me? Hi, Pam. There, now we don't have to hear me twice. That's okay, you don't have to be prepared. You can go back and watch it whenever. I'm gonna paint extra large tonight, and we'll see if that looks as good. I'm hoping it does. I'm gonna give it just a few minutes and give a couple more people a chance to get on, and then we'll get started. I don't know if you have your pineapple traced or not, but I have to trace mine too. Hi, Mom. You can see. Mm-hmm. All right. I'm excited. I should have turned all my notifications off, but I didn't. Okay. Well, so I'm just going to get started, and you guys can talk to me as I go, or if you have questions if you're painting along, and if not, you can type the questions down below, and that's where I'll see them. So I'm painting on a 16 by 20, and this is what we're painting. I've painted it a couple of different ways, trying to decide how I wanted to do the background tonight. All right, Pam, that's awesome. You'll have to let me know. After you paint this, I want everyone to post a picture too. It'll be fun. I also did it with a blue background. Damon did one. This is my husband, Damon. You would think him being the painter, I mean, I'm not saying I'm better, but he's sitting here, so. All right, so I'm gonna start just tracing my my pineapple. We'll just get started. So I have tracing paper on the back here, and I just printed off the size that I wanted. Damon actually taped my tracing paper on here for me because I was doing something else on that at that time. So I'm just going to start tracing it. So here I go. It's going to take me just a minute. So notice it doesn't have to be perfect when you're tracing it. All of this will get covered up as we paint. As I'm talking, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a pineapple, in case you're wondering why I chose a pineapple. I was always told that a pineapple was a symbol of hospitality. I never looked it up. I never really paid attention to it, but that's what it always meant to me. So I did Google it. There's an interesting little story behind the pineapple. It actually came to Europe through the Caribbean islands. Christopher Columbus brought the first pineapple to Europe. And when it first was brought over here, it kind of became known as a symbol of, of wealth or something like that. Did I miss any more on the top? Okay, good. Okay. Oh, happy birthday, Pam. I'm excited you're spending your birthday with us. So, this is another reason I chose the pineapple, because I thought I want a pineapple hanging in my house, and I have the perfect spot for it. I already picked it out, which is why I'm doing it so large tonight. The paint colors I wanted to use, I was not able to get all of them. So I'm going to be using a few different ones tonight than what are on the color list. But I can write those down and attach those if we end up liking this version better. And I broke my crayon. I've done this a couple of different times, and I don't always draw these V's on here. So if you're drawing these, they're just the letter V. You're doing it on your own, you just put a V in the center, and then you'll do one on each side. And then when you get ready to do the next row, you put the V in between the spaces between the V. But sometimes I'm not very symmetrical when I'm drawing freehand. And since I used to teach math, that bothers my eye. So I thought, well, I'm going to trace it. It'll make it a little easier tonight. Did you guys eat dinner already? I did not. Pam, what is this saying about standing tall and something about wearing a crown? Standing tall and wearing a crown. I've heard it. I can't remember it. Does anyone else remember? Anyone else heard that saying? All right. Let's hope it went through. Woohoo! Don't worry if you can't see it. I have a paint pen, but if you want to use a Sharpie, you do not have to. The Sharpie will show if you use the Sharpie and trace it. But if you don't trace it with something, it does bleed through. So if you wanted to take a Sharpie, I would suggest that, especially if you're just beginning, you'll find more success that way. So I'm going to just start at the top. And so notice my pineapple kind of goes off the top a little. And I'm going to, when I paint it, I'm going to probably put a top on mine, because I like the crown. Plus, if I trace this, you'll be able to see it better, hopefully. Can you guys see that better with me tracing it? Should have started big. being right-handed over on the left side, so then I wouldn't have had to stick my hand in it. But you know, it's one of the things I like about art is you don't have to be perfect.
Oh, your mom.
Oh, yeah. That all sounds yummy. I have not eaten dinner yet, but I had a late lunch, so.
Mom makes good green beans.
I know, Mom does make good green beans.
Hummingbird.
Do we have a hummingbird?
Yep, sitting right there on the.
I just saw our first hummingbird. Damon put out a feeder. He made his own food. It's not red food. So the trick to drawing a line like this is you don't look behind where you're going. You look just like you're driving a car. You look at where you want to go. And it helps to trace easier. Not that I'm perfect either, but it does help. Some might argue I'm not the best driver, so that might not be the best analogy for me to use. But that's okay too. Look, I did it again. So, nice. This is our Kay and Kim. Hello! So, have any of you watched a live Facebook? I know Randy and Kim have not. My mom said, you go cook.
I know, I saw that. She's being bossy. Tell her to paint.
Mom, he said for you to go paint. Let's see. So, Randy, are you guys painting along with me tonight? Or are you going to try some other time? All right. All right, so I got mine traced on. We're painting on typing paper. Awesome. Well, did you print out the tracer on the typing paper? If so, that'll be perfect. All right, so we're gonna get started painting if we're all ready. There's Pammy. All right, so I am actually going to use turquoise-like colors for my background. I'm gonna use from Walmart because this is what I had. Caribbean, Key West, and Cloudless. So those are the three colors I'm going to use for behind my pineapple. So I have my paper plate, and this is Cloudless. I don't know if you could see that very well. Cloudless. Hi, Dorothy. Hey, Pammy. Now I'm going to use Key West. And Caribbean. If you haven't figured it out yet, Damon is my helper tonight.
Woohoo!
Yay!
I'm a good helper.
He's a good helper. Okay.
Those new ones?
Now, I laid a brush down that I was going to use. Maybe not. Maybe it's in my cup.
This one?
Alright, so I'm going to use, it's about a 1-inch flat, meaning the bristles are flat. It's almost about an inch wide. I don't know what they know and what they don't know. So I'm going to take my lightest color first, and I'm going to blend my light to my middle to my dark down my pineapple. So I'm going to take my light first, and you're going to want to really load up your brush. Because this canvas has texture, it takes a little more to do that. On your paper, you may not have to put as much, Randy. Alright, so I'm going to do all this up here. And again, if you paint over some of your lines, that's okay. I'm just going to use this to kind of edge around there. Need a lot more paint. So before you got conned into some of you coming to hang with me, which I so appreciate, what do y'all have going on? I haven't seen anyone in a terribly long time, and I miss everyone. Damon's still been going to work. I've been getting to work from home, which is awesome. So I'm going to go down my pineapple with this light color down about the first, third-ish. So if you're looking off your V's of your pineapple, just down to about the bottom of that first V. I'm going to blend this just a little bit, and I'll add a little more paint there when I get ready to go down. And like I said, I don't want my pineapple to go completely off the page, so I'm going to add some of that cloudless color back here behind these leaves. And with a canvas, you also have to remember to paint your edges. So I'm going to get my edges here too. That's a good reason to have newspaper down, because I'm getting paint all over the place, which is another thing I like about painting, because I can be kind of messy. I've started sewing masks for family, but not as good as Pam. Pam, I bet you have collected a lot of stuff. I want to go through your linen closet with you. Pam is a good sewer. She makes the best scrunchies too. Pam has sewn scrunchies for me. Woo, and I love them. They're my favorite ones.
Chex Mix.
Damon loves the Chex Mix. My canvas is flat, not as hard to cover. Yes, that is when I did in my practice book, my canvas, it covered really fast. So I've had people asking me, well, how long will it take? I'm not really for sure, because when I did it on a small canvas, because you don't want a bunch of these laying around your house. When I did the small ones, drying time and all was less than an hour. So I would think you wouldn't have to even wait as long to dry with this one, because it covers so much faster. Hi Morgan, glad you could join us. Alright, so getting close. I'm kind of running out of my cloudless. I'm kind of skimpy. So I'm trying to get up here next to this. Again, I'm messy, but that's one of the things that I like about painting, is I don't have to be as structured as I am in a lot of other areas. Alright, so now I am going to, thank you, see any more little spots?
I think it's...
Maybe add a little more right up in here. Okay. Alright. So now I'm going to take that next color, which was Key West. I'm going to kind of just mix that in with some of the cloudless I have. And I'm going to just start blending that down. And I'm making kind of a figure 8 motion through here, or an infinity sign. That helps to kind of avoid some of that line that you might get when you just go straight across with a new color. And this side was kind of already drying, so I'm going to need to go up a little. And I'm going to bring this color down to about the bottom of that next to last row of these. And I'm going to put that Key West all through there. Make sure I get the side of my canvas. 25 cents last week. Yeah, I went to our Walmart here in Nixa, and they didn't have anything when I went. Like, not one bottle of paint. There was another lady in the aisle with me, and she goes, I guess I'm not going to finish my bird. And I was like, yeah. Said, I was just coming to look. Oh, Sandy, I'm sure you're doing great. Here's the thing too about acrylic paint. If you mess up, you just paint over it. So awesome that way. I have a acrylic board in my closet of my, it's like my linen closet in my bathroom. And it has one board in there that I have painted probably no less than 5 times over it. I don't like what it is every time. Alright, now I'm going to take this last color. It's Caribbean. And I'm going to blend that into my bottom down here. And with that kind of figure 8 motion, I'm going to blend it up into the Key West color. I have not dipped my brush in water one bit. I have just been going straight down because I'm kind of blending the turquoisey-ish colors into the next one. So, and they're kind of, you know, going lightest to dark, so it's okay if they're a little blended in my brush. Now, I will wash my brush here in a minute when I go to the yellow-ish colors. Figure 8 motion there to blend that in some. Got a lot of blue there. And don't forget to get your edges. How do you learn the colors? Well, I don't know the names of them necessarily. And all of the brands have different names. So I just pick colors I like. And so, for example, this, for the background colors here, I was looking for colors that were in that turquoisey family because turquoise to me screams summer. And this is something I plan on hanging in my house in the summertime. So that's how I pick the background for this. Now, that being said, I picked some colors at Deco Art and then I couldn't get those. So that's why I'm using these colors that I had. And the only reason I was using Deco Art versus Apple Barrel, just for if you're wondering why I chose one over the other, is Deco Art's paints are generally a little thicker. So if on you're doing a canvas where it's got this texture a little bit, it's better to have that thicker paint. Whereas Apple Barrel's a little thinner, but it's alright. You could add some medium to this and make thicker if it bothered you. But it doesn't bother me. And I'm going to walk away from that edge where I don't think it's blending well. Because I don't think you'll notice that when I'm done. Oops, missed an edge over here. The whole edge. You're like, oh, it'll bother you. Turquoise does scream summer. Hi, Leslie. I saw your name pop up today and I was so excited to see you on there. Alright. So now I'm going to rinse my brush off. And I sometimes, well, all the time, will kind of wipe the paint out of my brush with a paper towel first, just because it makes my water last a little longer and then it's not so icky. And that's a technical word, right? Icky? Randy, I'm not surprised by that at all. I'm not surprised at all. Alright. Here's what I mean by icky. See, I even washed or wiped my brush off, and my water's still pretty turquoise. Alright, so this is where I'm going to go to my pineapple. And I'm going to start up here, and the only reason I'm going to start in the top of my pineapple is because it seems like this up here, this paint, is a little drier. And I don't want turquoise mixed in with my yellow. I don't want necessarily green down here. So we're going to mix some green first. So I had 3 colors here at the house. I have palm leaf, which is kind of a dark palm leaf colored green. And I don't have much of it, but we're going to use as much as we can. Oh yeah. Set that one upside down. Then I have spring green, which is again apple barrel. And then I do have more spring green. And then this is a deco art color, and it's called Citron Green. It's like a lime green. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do, you can pick, again, any 3 shades of green. Or if you wanted to do purples up here, or blues, or orange, or pink, you can make your pineapple whatever color you would like it to be. I'm going to go with greens, and I kind of went with some spring and summery style greens. The only one that was not is the palm, and, well, I'm going to start with it, and I wanted a base, and then I want the other parts a little lighter. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So I'm going to start with this palm, and I'm just going to cover this whole thing up here. And in terms of brush strokes, I'm going to just try to make them similar to those designs that I drew. So if you have never painted before, that's kind of what you're going for, is if you have traced it, you're going to make your brush strokes kind of follow that design. Again, I'm putting quite a bit of paint on here, but that's okay. It will dry, and we've got lots of layers. So green is one of those very transparent colors. So as you are putting that on your canvas or your paper, you're going to see it takes a lot to get it to cover. I don't know about you guys, but I am so ready to go somewhere where there's water and warm. I think maybe that's another reason, since pineapples originated in the Caribbean. It's probably another reason I like the Caribbean. At least that's what I'm going to go with. It's the pineapples. Everybody doing okay? Takes a minute, doesn't it, trying to focus? And this is all still just that one shade of green. Just getting a good base coat. Notice it doesn't have to be totally even. Again, green is transparent, so I'm just getting a base coat on there so that I don't have as much, or hopefully any, white showing through. And if I do, I'll just touch it up or leave it, depending on if it bothers me. Okay, so while that's still wet, I'm going to pick up some of this spring green. I'm going to just kind of make some highlights where I've got those black lines at, and kind of start to outline these leaves a little more. So you can see that black is coming through there, and I'm kind of just following right over those lines, and I'm laying my paint on really thick. That's why it's not blending in. If you don't have your paint thick enough on your brush, it will blend with that green that we just put on there, and we don't want it to blend. We want it to be more of a highlight than a blend. Again, I haven't washed my brush in between. Now I'm going to pick up that citron, or that lime green color, and I'm going to do the same thing with it. Now I won't add as much because it's a powerful color. I love it. There's a little dot. I say I won't add as much, but look, here I go, adding it everywhere because I love it. I love it. Alright. Alright. Now I'm going to rinse out my brush. I think it makes it pop too. That's what I like about it, is it doesn't blend in. It is definitely abstract, but I like it. Alright, so I'm grabbing another paper plate, mainly because I got really messy and I dripped my green all over the place. And again, this first coat of yellow is kind of a base coat on our pineapple. So if it is not as thick as you would like, we can go back and put a second coat on. A little bit of wet there, but not bad. Let's be real careful. Alright. So, and I didn't have a really good yellow, so I'm going to do a little mixing of yellows. Hope it turns out to the color that I'm wanting. So I've got bright yellow, which is really not the exact color of a pineapple. It's a little brighter than it should be. And then I have this cadmium yellow, which has a little bit more red to it. And I'm going to just add that a little bit and see if I can make it a little closer to the color I want. We were talking about color mixing last night at the dinner table. It's a weird subject to talk about, I'm sure, while you're eating dinner. But we were talking about the yellow in this pineapple and what color I wanted it to be. My son was trying to tell me the best way to tint my colors. Obviously, I'm not a trained painter. So he was using words from his art class that I just did not know, that terminology. Alright, so I've mixed this color up. I don't know. What do you think? Do you like that better or worse? Does it need to be more orangey?
I think a little more orangey.
Let's add a little more of this cadmium yellow to it.
But you saw how my pineapple turned out.
Yeah. Damon's telling me I need to add more orangey, but his pineapple turned out brown. So So I don't know that we want to take advice from him. I told him use whatever colors you want. So he just mixed them all together and made a pretty brown.
I painted my pineapple on a shady day.
On a shady day, he painted his pineapple.
My pineapple was in the shade.
His pineapple was in the shade. Yeah. I guess, when you think about the inside of a pineapple is yellow, not the outside. But whatever. All right, here we go. Again, I'm just laying this on. You'll be able to paint right over your marks. Or if you went over them with a Sharpie, that's okay too, because we're going to edge it out anyways. It'll be beautiful. Beautiful. I mixed a little turquoise in here. It's okay. So have any of you went to a paint party before? Oh, thank you, Mary. Are you painting too? I have to give you a holler sometime. I hung out with Austin today at work. He's a hoot. Come on, don't run out of the color you mixed. Nope. Yes, Angie, you'll be able to watch later. I'm sorry, I should have said Central Time. I have only went to virtual paint parties. It's kind of a funny thing. I wanted to learn to paint, and so I joined a membership where I paint every month. So many paintings a month. It's awesome. I love it. It's how I have learned to paint. But I thought, man, this is fun, and I hang out with people, and so I thought, well, I'm going to start doing paint parties at restaurants and stuff. Of course, then the coronavirus happened, and that didn't happen, so I got the opportunity to do something fun online. Thought, let's do it. So the pineapple came up, and I love it. Alright, so there's my first coat of yellow. Wipe my brush off here. Actually, do I want to put a little... No, I'm going to wash my brush off. I was trying to think. I thought about maybe putting a little yellow in my leaves up there, but I think that citron green is enough. I think that makes it yellowy enough. And again, this is very abstract. We're going to add some blues and some pinks and some oranges, and I have some glitter because I love glitter. I do love glitter. I got glitter shoes, glitter shirts. Lucky that you can't paint in public right now. Yeah, you are. I'm excited. Listen, this is better than painting in public. I have not seen, Leslie, Sally, I haven't seen you since that day at Spokane. Okay, Pam, so you have done them at a church. Okay. See, I wondered if we had churches around here that were doing it, which is awesome. I was supposed to go to several paint parties, and then it never worked out. I was panicking. The weather here was a little stormy earlier, and I thought last time I said I was going to go live, I lost my internet, so that was no good. Alright, so I about got my yellow washed out on my brush, and it didn't necessarily need to take that long, but I was trying to give my paint a little time to dry, because I don't know about you guys, but it's pretty wet right now. Pretty wet. Take a drink. Well, I know there's nothing funner than watching paint dry, so I'm going to blow dry mine. Let's try to get this to dry a little faster. We're blowing the paper towel. I'm making my pineapple feel like it's in the Caribbean. The wind's blowing. Young. I love doing trucks. I have done several trucks on windows. Oh yeah, it's drying really fast now. I need to add a lot more color down here. I like how that cloudless turned out behind me though. That's pretty. Right now, I hope you can hear me over my blow dryer. Alright, mainly right now I want the yellow to be dry because we're going to work on that and the green at the same time. But again, the top here we're going to layer on pretty thick, so if it's not all the way dry, that's okay too. Alright, so I'm using still my same 1-inch flat brush. And I'm going to switch to an orange, and I'm going to just trace right above these black lines with Tropic Orange. I don't know if they can read these or not. The light's kind of glaring on my side, so I could be holding these all up for nothing. Okay. Alright, Pam, I have a bicycle that I'm wanting to do that is kind of got an abstract background. You know, like the Lily, I'm not even sure how you say it, Lily something. She makes those bags. Anyways, they have the prettiest backgrounds on those bags. I'd like to do a bicycle that has kind of a abstract inspired Lily, I think it's Pulitzer, or something like that. She does real cute little journals and stuff too. Alright, so I'm going to take my 1-inch flat, and so again, you can use, I like to think of a brush as having 3 sides, so I'm going to just use that flat tip part, and I'm going to just make like the letter V. Right inside of where I have that. And again, does not have to be perfect. That's the great thing. Oops, lots of paint. A V and a V. Oh, yes. On a canvas bag, that would be cute. I found at Walmart before all this happened a little canvas banner that I want to paint something on it. I haven't decided. I was wanting to play some tropical, like, steel drum music in the background. And I found some copyright-free music on YouTube, but I was afraid they would mute me and then you wouldn't be able to hear me. Above the V. Just above the V. Notice I got a little thicker as I went down, so I'm going to go back and make these a little thicker. And there I made a little mistake, but that's okay. Happy little mistake. Bob Ross says that, right?
I guess what he says.
He makes happy little trees, I know that, everywhere.
I know he got a pet squirrel.
He does have a pet squirrel. Alright, so now I'm going to take a little bit of, you can use either black here or I have navy blue. So I'm going to use some navy blue to cover the actual V's that are in Sharpie or in black below those pink ones. You can use whatever color you would like. Again, you could even use the black. I just used navy blue. And yeah, it's called Admiral Blue. So I'm going to wipe my brush off. Ooh, yeah, gold would be pretty. I have some glitter gold that I'm going to use here in just a minute. And I have blue glitter. Like I said, I like glitter. Oh, you know what I should have done before I rinse my brush? Oh well. I'll do it at the end. I was going to put some of that pink up in the top. Alright, so here is my navy blue. And I'm going to just trace almost right on those V's that were already there. Sorry, I wasn't talking. I get zoned in sometimes and think about the painting and not the talking. So, when you're done, you need to take a picture and post it in the group so we all can see how your pineapples turned out. I'm anxious to see what colors you guys used. Like I said, Damon's turned out brown. Tried to get my son Damon to do it. He was not interested in the least bit. And you don't have to use blue. I just liked the blue. Now, before I rinse my brush, I'm going to take just a little bit here And I'm going to do just a few little highlights of blue in the top of my pineapple. Again, blue's not the primary color here, so telling myself that it's just as much as I'm telling you. I do better on this part. Just don't think about it. Just make a few little dots, make little dashes with your brush. Don't think about it, move on. Yes, Mary, I can't wait. I'm excited to see how they all turn out. I am going to be hanging this one right over here on the wall on the right side of me. Alright, so now this is where I'm going to be putting just some little embellishments and some different pieces. So I have some bright pink. It's called bright magenta. I'm just going to need a little bit of that. And then I used some light pink. This bottle was called Cameo Pink. Then I took some blue Deco Art Craft Twinkles. It's brush on glitter paint because I love glitter. I love it. Love it. I love it. And then I have some gold craft twinkles that I'm going to highlight with. Let's see. And I'm going to use a little more of that Caribbean in here. That's this darker color. Yeah, I think that's what I want to add to it. Just a little bit more. Now, I'm going to take any round brush, and I'm going to take this one, and we're not even going to use the end part of it. Notice this is a flat brush. I would say it's about, I don't know, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch wide, probably 1/4 inch, 3/8 maybe. It's a number 8 if that means anything. And I'm going to use the end part here. It doesn't matter what brush you use. I obviously wouldn't want to use this brush because it's got a really big end, and that would be disproportionate to my painting. So I'm going to take this bright pink and I'm dipping the end of my brush in, and I'm going to just put a dot in every one of these V's in the center. And it can be as big as you want, as little as you want. Again, this is abstract, so you're just going quickly, putting a dot. Don't put too much mind to it. You'll find if you don't put a lot of thought into this part, it actually looks better than when you put a lot of thought. So I'm just trying to not think and enjoy the process. Alright, there's the pink. I'm just going to wipe the end of my brush off in my paper towel. And I'm going to go to, let's do light pink now. I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm going to just put a dot. You can put it next to it. I try not to, again, think too much through this. The only thought that I even put, and it's just because I can't turn my brain off, is you'll notice that I put most of every one of these dots on the same side as the dark pink. And again, you can use any colors you want through here. Then I'm going to wipe that tip off. And I'm going to dip in to my blue glitter. And I'm going to put that on this left side here. I thought tonight here was going to be cloudy and rainy and kind of icky, but it turned out right now the birds are chirping and it is a beautiful evening outside. Oops, I dropped a little blue dot there. Cover that up in a little bit if it bothers me. If not, it's, you know, again, it's abstract, so it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I'm going to add that Caribbean onto the end, and you can wipe the glitter off if you want, or you don't have to. I'm not going to, because I'm going to add that Caribbean just really closely to that blue glitter. Yeah, I turned our heat off earlier, and I'm glad that I did. But not that I had it on this weekend, because it was a beautiful weekend, but it's still gotten cool sometimes in the evening, so I keep it on at a low temperature. So again, I'm just taking the end of my brush, rubbing it in that blue paint, and then making a dot with the end. Then I'm going to wipe that off the end of my brush. And I'm going to do that with gold. I love it when my watch reminds me I haven't reached my exercise goal. You can do it. I'd have to care more to do it. And I don't really... I would rather paint a picture any day than go around the block. I would say if I'm running, you could very likely assume something major is wrong with me. Or I've lost a bet. Something did not go my way for me to be running. Now I will walk with you all day long. But if I'm running... we should all be just a little worried. Just a little worried.
Unless you're on the nature trail.
Then notice my paint is wet and they're mixing in, and that's okay. And now I'm going to add some fun stuff up here in the top. Let's see, what brush do I want to use? So what we're going to do is we're going to make a few little highlights up here in the top. So I'm just going to flop this brush I was using around, and it's a flat brush. If you have a round, that would work really well too. And I have a round, but I've already used this one, so I'm going to go ahead and just stick with it. And I'm going to start with this dark pink color. And just like I did these highlights through here with the different shades of green and the blue, I'm going to add the pink in here as well. If you want to use the same brush you've been using, that's fine. You can use that too. I'm going to start with this brush. And again, I don't want this to be the overpowering color, so I'm just quickly making a few little marks. And this is the highlight color. Then I'm going to just wipe off my brush. And I'm going to put some of that Caribbean in there. I didn't rinse it off, I just wiped it off. I didn't have a lot on there to begin with. Ah, look what I did. I just stuck it right back in that pink paint. Ding dong. Alright. Second time. Wipe the pink paint off. Grab the Caribbean. And I'm going to just do the same thing through here and make a few little blue marks. And this is one of those things that if you will kind of take a step back, you'll see where you want more of a certain color. It just happens that way. I will take a picture and then I'll come back and go, okay, yeah, that was not such what I wanted, so let's fix that. So yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect the first time through by any means. Now I'm going to wipe that blue off. I'm going to pick up some of this light pink. And I'm going to do the same thing, add some light pink through here. Go to my glitter gold and wipe my brush off again. Good. Yeah, mine, they start out not looking so good, but by the time you start adding all the different highlights and different pieces in, you go, oh yeah, that's cool looking. At least that's how I've always felt about them. So the gold is glitter, right? It's a little more transparent. But I do like me some glitter paint, so I just like to add it all over. And again, glitter may not be for you, but here's the cool thing about glitter paint, not the glitter mist, right? Not the glitter everywhere. But I like it. Sometimes I get a little too carried away. I'm going to add blue glitter is saying my name, maybe in just a few spots. It's a little blue here. A little blue here. Okay. Maybe a little more right there. Okay. No more blue glitter. Alright. I kind of like that. And I'm going to wipe that brush off and rinse it off. I've got a little touching up to do down here on my bottom. So I'm going to do that while some of this other stuff is drying. Because I'm not done with the top. And I've got a little bit more outlining that I'd like to do around the base of the pineapple for sure. But my bottom here, you'll notice, is kind of streaky. And I don't like that at all. So I've got a little more Caribbean over here. I'm going to just touch that up. the hard part about trying to just touch up a piece on the background when it's blended. Is trying to keep it blended at the sides. But it looks good. I like it. This kind of looks more like maybe a wave that's on the side of it. Let's see if I can fix it a little better.
Pineapple floating in the ocean.
It's a pineapple floating in the Caribbean Ocean. There we go. Right? Everything is better with a story. I have a wreath I made. My word. That thing is terrible. Are you putting some darker blue at the bottom? I put that Caribbean down there to begin with, and it was very transparent. You could see through it. It was still white at the bottom. So I'm just putting a little more on top to kind of blend it in. And again, I may even touch that up more when we're not on here. We'll let it dry. We'll see what it looks like. I'll quit messing with it for now. Okay. So now I'm gonna edge in some of my pineapple at the top. I guess I should have a marker or a paint pen I could use, but I don't find it. So I'm gonna trim out this top. So when you are edging little things or outlining, and I'm just using some black to outline it first. The hardest part for me was being heavy-handed, so I pushed really hard on the brush. So the best or the easiest way I found to not do that is just to get a smaller brush. I know that sounds simple, but you just get a smaller brush. So notice how tiny this brush is. This is called a liner brush. And it's called a liner 1, and so it is really, really tiny. If you have bigger brushes, they work too. You just have to be a little lighter handed. So I'm going to take this liner brush and this black, and I'm going to just start edging this. And again, I'm just tracing right where those lines already were. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Again, this is just kind of to give it a little more structure so that it looks like leaves at the top a little. Again, it's abstract, so it doesn't have to totally look like leaves, but it gives it a little more structure in what's going on here. We'll just add a few little lines. Oop, got a little thick there, didn't I? It's okay. Again, there is no right or wrong way. It's your pineapple, so that's what makes this cool. What do we think? Step back, kind of check it out, see if I need some. I have no idea why, but I got that song stuck in my head. If you like pina coladas. Damon just laughed at me. Alright, I'm gonna let that stay for a minute. We'll come back and add a few more in if we need to. Alright. And then we're gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna just outline this edge because it takes me longer with a paintbrush. I'm gonna just use my paint pen. And again, if you like to outline things, these pens are amazing. They're called Posca, and they're not like just the Walmart pens. They you can just prime them a little and they go for a really long time. And this isn't going to just be a straight black edge. I'm going to add some more colors around the edge too, but I just kind of want to define where I've lost my edge a little. Look where you're driving, not where you've been. You're tracing or outlining. Look where you're driving, not where you've been. Okay, I'm going to take that same liner brush, and I think I'm going to add a little bit of this magenta here along the outside. I'm not going to make it a solid line like I did the black, just going to kind of brush as I go around. Don't want it to be dashed, but again, just don't think about it, just tap and go. I think I might add a little of that gold glitter around the edge too. I liked that. Listen, I agree. It is the hardest part, outlining. That is definitely the hardest part. That's why I ended up getting one of these pens, because it makes it so much easier and faster. And the liner brush. Both of those are very, very helpful. Oh, look. There's where it tells me who's watching. You can tell I've done a lot of live videos, right? I just now figured out where it shows me who all has been on here. It's all good. It's all good. Alright, so I'm going to take a little more of that gold. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did with that pink and kind of dot my edges. Just kind of highlighting around there. Again, I do get carried away with the glitter, so. God, I can't get that song out of my head. All right. What do we think? Got a little bit of open spots, but got some water on my canvas up there. Hopefully when this dries, I'll blend this in just a little more. Kind of messed up on me when I tried to cover that. Alright. What do you think, Damon? Do we need to add something? I'm going to work on this bottom a little more, but
Looking pretty darn good.
I think we're getting close to being done. How do yours look? I don't like this bottom, so I'm going to change it up a bit. Remember how I said the best thing about painting is if you mess up, you just paint over it? That's what I'm going to do. I don't like how this looks through here. It's dry. So I'm going to paint right over it.
Oh, yeah.
I think that looks a little better already. Nice, you're done. I know. I was hoping mine would be done, but I do not like that bottom, and I will not be able to leave it like that. So I'm just taking some of that lighter blue and mixing it in with this darker to try to blend that a little better. Don't know that it's necessarily working, but in my mind it looks better than it did. I probably should have waited for this to dry a little more. I will post my finished one as well, so you can see what mine turned out like, because I will have to finish, and then again, I like to let mine dry, and then I may go back and check it out and mix a few things up in it. Randy, how are you and Kim doing? Hopefully you've had a good laugh at least. Maybe I gave you a laugh or two. I think the hardest part is when you make a mistake or you don't like how something looks, making yourself fix it. But with paint, again, that's the easy part. Yeah, I like that a lot better. I think as it dries, you won't see that as much. Okay. I think that's about it, unless y'all can see something that I've missed. I had a little white spot there. Oops, now I really made a mistake, see? You just should walk away, Joni, walk away. Now I have to walk away because I have to let that dry to fix it. Alright. Well, there we go. I need to walk away. Yeah, a canvas is better. You're gonna have to show me your picture because I want to see it. Alright. Well, I look forward to seeing everyone's pictures. You can post them below in this video. Yay, I'm glad you had fun. All right, we'll talk to you guys later. Bye. I don't know how to stop it.